What's up, y'all? We back with another draft class update, and I'm going back here and there. If you can't tell, I'm going back to some of the prospects I might miss or whatever, guys I hadn't decided I want to add in. Frank Kaminsky of Wisconsin is one of those guys. I actually told somebody on Twitter, they were asking me whether or not I was going to include Frank Kaminsky. I hadn't decided really yet, but he's having a really good tournament, so definitely wouldn't have put him in there before. If you look at his numbers, he's only a junior. He only averaged 14 a game this year, 6.4 rebounds, 1.7 blocks. He's 6'11", 7 feet tall. But the good thing about Kaminsky is his game. He's very good shooting the ball from the outside, so he's a matchup problem. Against Arizona, he gave them fits because Caleb Tarczewski was too slow a foot to stay with him, and Kaminsky's not really fast, but he's a little too slow. And but Aaron Gordon and other players weren't quite long enough for him down on the block. Now, I'll throw a comparison out, and this is as loose of a comparison as you could ever have, because I'm not in any way implying he's this guy, but he had on a college level a little bit of a Dirk Nowitzki type of effect on the game because of his size and ability to shoot from the outside. Now, no way he's not going to be anywhere near that good. I mean, like I said, I hesitated even putting him in the class. But because he's a big guy who can come up trailing up the floor, you can hit him for a three, or he can do pick and pop with him and shoot the three. You could get some value out of him if you were to draft him in your draft class. Now, you might be looking at the screen and wondering why it's jumping. I don't know. My Elgato got possessed by the devil while I was recording this. We had to get it exercised, and it did. But throughout this video, you might see a little bit of some herky-jerky stuff. I apologize. You see I gave Frank Kaminsky the 61 overall, and you can kind of see some of the guys we're going to go through here today. Zach LaVine we already talked about in a previous episode, but now we're going to look at DeAndre Kane for Iowa State. Very interesting prospect. You want to know why? Look at the birth year. Yeah, so what that means basically is by the time the draft rolls around, he's going to be 25 years old. But he is a point guard with good experience on a collegiate level, obviously. 5-year senior, spent first 3 years playing for Marshall. Came on and really found himself with Iowa State and Fred Hoiberg. Look at the numbers, 17 a game, 6 assists, almost 7 rebounds. He nearly had back-to-back triple-doubles in the NCAA tournament. This guy plays really hard. He's big and physical, 6'4", 200-pound point guard, able to finish near the basket, able to grab the rebounds, go the distance of the floor, which is why I gave him the one-man fast break. But turnovers have been a problem for him here and there, as well as, they have some questions about his attitude, self-control kind of thing. But I think he really did well with Iowa State, and I've just matured more or less. But the problem is that at 25, it's very unlikely he's going to get drafted because, he would have to just torch people at the Portsmouth Invitational and at pre-draft stuff to get drafted because, the NBA draft is based mostly off of potential. And at 25, you're almost just about the guy you're going to be. So, yeah, I don't know. But he does have an interesting game. But he's a good athlete, not a great one, but I think he could play in the NBA as a reserve, but I don't think he'll ever be any type of a star or anything to that effect, but I do think that he could play in the league. So let's move on to the next guy, which is Sean Kilpatrick, and you see the rating there, which is a 59, one of the lowest that I've given. I like Kilpatrick's game, but I only like it really on a college level. He's not a superb athlete, only 6'4", 210-pound shooting guard. Doesn't handle the ball excessively well, so I worry about his ability to get his own shot, especially in the NBA. And then if you look at like his shooting, he's a good shooter, but not a great shooter, and that's on the college level when all of the athletes aren't as big, strong, long, and effective as they are going to be in the NBA. So if he's not able to get his own shot, he's basically going to be a spot-up shooting kind of a guy. And to me, he's going to need to improve his shooting to be that type of a guy. One of the comparisons I think I read about with him was Jody Meeks, which is okay. Jody Meeks is in the league. He started a little bit here for a really bad Lakers team, but It's far from a star, and I'm not even sure that I don't know that Sean Kilpatrick shoots at that at whether or not he makes his shots at as high of a percentage as Jody Meeks does. So that's a concern, because if you're a spot-up shooter that's not knocking them down enough, then what are we really doing? So that's the only thing about Kilpatrick. He's also older too. I believe he's 23. So that creates another issue for him too. Thus, the the pretty low rating that I gave him. Zach LaVine, like I said, we talked about. James Michael McAdoo, I think as far as matching up faces with the way a guy really looks, this is one of the best ones. McAdoo is he's a physical specimen. Really, he is. I mean, he's a big, muscular dude, and long arms, very physical, especially on defense. He gets his hands in the passing lanes a lot. I think he has the ability to be an elite defender. I really, truly believe that. I think he could be an elite defender. But offensively, he hasn't made very many strides at all. His free throw shooting is getting worse every year. So, you know, people talk about him possibly being able to play small forward. I worry about that because of his inability to score from the perimeter. And he can put the ball on the floor a little bit, but not to a level that, you know, I feel like you would want a three to be able to put it on the floor. So he's a peculiar kind of a prospect, but as a run jump athlete, yes, absolutely. As a defender, yes, absolutely. As a good rebounder from a small forward position, yes, absolutely. So I think he has to be on the floor with other scorers so that he can get the kind of buckets that you don't have to run plays for, and also so his team isn't being hurt by the fact that he's probably never going to be a top-notch scoring prospect. So that's my take there. But now he is a good athlete. So if the video would ever stop freaking out. So I mean, you might be wondering, well, why didn't I redo this? Because I had taken really all of this, you know, footage and scrolled through or whatever, and the majority of all the statistics and everything you can see. But yeah, it's not ideal, and you won't see another probably video like this from me with the jerking around. Next up is KJ McDaniels, one of, if not the best athlete in the draft. He has sick explosion, right? 6'6", 200 pounds. You see the number, 17 points, 7.1 rebounds a game, small forward. But look at the blocks. Almost 3 blocks a game from the small forward position and over a steal a game. And he shot 84% from the free throw line. Now, all of that said, those are all his great points. He doesn't create off the dribble for himself or anyone else. His jump shot's just okay. But you see, he has a nice amount of signature skills because he can throw it down. Plays ridiculously hard. Has very good defense, as you know, obvious by the shot. I almost gave him eraser. I almost did, but I kind of set a little bar. In order for me to give a guy eraser as a signature skill, they should average at least 3 blocks a game. I almost did it for 2.8 because he's a small forward, but I just let it be where it is because I gave his vertical leap is bananas. I mean, have you seen KJ McDaniels jump? I mean, he has. I think he got a dunk contest in his future. Absolutely. So he's only a junior, so he could come back. But his stock is pretty high after Clemson did pretty well in the NIT, even though they didn't make the NCAA tournament. So I'm liking KJ McDaniels' game a lot. He does the thing that he was never probably ever going to be a guy putting the ball on the floor, you know, getting guys off the dribble. That's never probably going to happen. But if he could get the spot up jump shot down, oh my, you can just imagine situations where guys are dribble penetration. They're kicking it out to him for the 3, right? He gives, if he makes the defender respect it, he gives the pump fake, goes straight to the lane, and then the athleticism can take over. Now, last but certainly not least is Doug McDermott. Now, this is going to probably draw a little bit of controversy or whatever because somebody saw the rating in the last one and they were thinking like, wow, why is it so low? Doug McDermott is a very good shooter. very refined and good offensive skills. He's not a great ball handler and certainly not a great athlete. And you might look at these statistics and go, wow, 26.7 points a game, led the nation, shot 52.6% from the field, almost 45% from the three-point line, 86% from free throw, and he rebounded well. All of that is great, right? But let me throw some names out to you. Reggie Williams, Stephen Curry, Aubrey Coleman, Jimmer Fredette, Reggie Hamilton, Eric Green. Now, all of those guys are guys who led the nation in scoring. Now, aside from Stephen Curry, none of those guys have either made an impact in the NBA or they have made a very little impact in the NBA. I say this to say, not that Doug McDermott is just trash or anything like that. Not at all. But leading the nation in scoring in college basketball does not mean anything as it translates to the NBA. It just doesn't. Because scoring and getting your offense on the collegiate level is completely different than doing it in the NBA. You got to be able to beat guys off the dribble. You got to be able to create for yourself. You got to be able to command the double team on the low block. And McDermott I don't see him being able to do that. What I do see him being able to do is be a great shooter off screens, to be a great spot-up style shooter. I totally can see that because this guy can shoot it. He can flat out shoot it. He's also a good passer, especially from that standstill triple threat position. If he can, he can find cutters and that sort of thing. But he lacks the real athleticism to really be able to be a star in the NBA. He's just not going to be that. But for the right team, with the right amount of guys or the right types of guys around him, he can certainly make a good impact in the league. But the 67 is what I gave him. So now we're going to go back, and I'm looking at, these are some of the guys I'm going to go back and redo. Alejandro Gentile, Olivier Hanlon, Mohamedou Jatai. That's international players if you didn't know that already. There's also somebody that passes, A.J. Hammonds. I'm going to go back up and look at him, the big center from Purdue. So I'm kind of, trying to, I had some placeholder guys, and like I was telling you guys, I wasn't quite finished yet. It's guys that I'm adding in. So I'm kind of trying to show you some of the ones that didn't have before. That was one Jordan McRae from Tennessee, adding him in. So those are the guys that you're going to see in the next episode of the draft class, kind of going back. I believe I want to add Patrick Young for Florida, even though I don't think he's going to get drafted. And I may even add Scotty Wilbekin for Florida. Not sure if he's going to get drafted either, probably not. But I may add him. I'm actually running out of slots though at this point, so we'll see what happens. Y'all stay tuned for the next episode with less freaky stuff going on with the video. Y'all subscribe, follow, peace.